It's the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul, the podcast about stories in business and in life, with your hosts Ed Fox and Paul Odendahl. G'day viewers and listeners, it's Ed Fox and Paul Odendahl with the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul. And our guest today is Chris Pennock. Did I say that right, Chris?
Yep, you said it
Pennock.
right.
And he's a fun guy, and we almost forgot to record again. Like, this is their third episode, and I'm still forgetting to hit the record button. So we've got it, though. So welcome, Chris. And I know you're a friend of Paul's, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, well, that misery loves company.
There you go. There you go. So, hey, Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and what you're currently doing?
All right. Well, I started oh no, that's a Steve Martin thing.
You started with Steve Martin. What a great background.
Yeah, that's a great background right there.
Actually, in background, I see horses. I see a picture of a tree.
You see a brown bear?
Oh, by the way, this was prior to our show, Chris. Not to embarrass you on our show, but you look better without the glasses. So anyway, horses, a tree in the background, the pictures. There you go.
There you go. Now my eyes have to refocus, though, so you know, the product of aging.
When you get up to Ed's age, that happens.
Yeah, experience. You know, it's a good thing, and it's a plus and a minus. But anyway, about my background, came out of Southern California, originally born in Salem, Massachusetts.
Whoa.
Which city?
So watch yourself. Anyway, but mostly raised in Southern California. I moved up to Northern California in 1991. I worked in the apparel industry in both New York and Southern California for years. Decided that I didn't want to work for anybody else.
Women's dresses?
Actually, women's bras and lingerie.
Okay, you were a model.
Chris, I'm great at interrupting, Chris. I know I'm interrupting your introduction. Chris, growing up in Salem, Massachusetts, and all the history of Salem, Massachusetts, is there a place for my co-host there who forgets to use his wake-up call with Ed and Paul cup and picks up his Yoda cup and stuff? What did they do with evil co-hosts like that in Salem, Massachusetts years ago? Look at him. He's got his Yoda cup. Where is your wake-up call cup?
It's here. It's mint condition. I've told you that. I'm keeping it to store cards in.
I told you, I have a mint condition one saved for you and autographed. All right, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry,
for
Chris.
Interrupting.
I can't control him. He's uncontrollable.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I learned to dance without looking at my feet a long time ago. I moved up to Northern California because I wanted to actually work for myself instead of a corporation. And started working for a small town insurance agency in Santa Rosa, California. We did about $4 million in revenue. And by the time we sold to Wells Fargo and I was back in the corporate mess, we were doing $40 million in revenue. 2 years into Wells Fargo, and gosh, you know, hopefully Wells Fargo doesn't strike me down when I say this, but I realized this was not what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to be under their control for the rest of my life. So I fulfilled my 3-year personal services contract and went independent again with an agency in San Francisco called Calender-Robinson. And we've grown that agency to about 45 million. It was about 25 million when I joined. And now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up.
Right. And by the way, Chris, thank you for killing our sponsorship with Wells Fargo. We appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Hey, I'm doing you a favor, actually.
Do they still build stagecoaches? Is that Wells Fargo? No.
Yeah, that Wells Fargo.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
So, Chris, tell me, have you given some thought? So this is the wake-up call with Ed and Paul. So have you given some thought to what the next step is for you? You know, how long are you going to stay in the insurance business? What do you want to move into? Do you know?
Well, yeah, I've given a lot of thought to it. And the beauty of it is, like anything else that I've done when I've changed, life paths, is that it's all a position of experiment now. So it's not like, you know, there's pressure or anything like that. It's actually an opening. If you looked at, you know, my mindset is to experiment with a bunch of stuff. So I've done that before when I've made life changes and taken that attitude as opposed to, oh my God, what am I going to do when I retire type thing. And it, really broadens the scope of things. And this is one of the things that I'm looking towards, is how to put myself out there and really share life experiences that I've had, because I've had some interesting ones, with the people that, it would help.
We have guests on to assist our audience, but what a blessing just listening to that, because now I realize this is an experiment with my co-host.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an experiment.
Well, right. And don't you find, so I talk to a lot of people that go, oh, I want to be a business owner. I want to be a business owner. I want to be a business owner. Well, what's stopping you? Well, I don't have the money. I'm sorry. I started my first business on $80.
Yeah.
Michael's way early, but I'm glad he's on the call. So we just had a
we'll have to ask Michael. Michael, can you please rejoin us? Michael.
No, he's fine. He can sit there and just nod his head when I make all the right answers. So okay. So
he brought some color to the video too, if you see.
Right. Yeah, I don't see the video. I just see his name. And sometimes we're rude on this show. We're like, last week we had to tell the first guest to get out. Get out, Michael. You're supposed to come back at 12 o'clock. Get out.
I can't control.
There he goes. See, sometimes you just have to be rude with your guests.
Bloody New Yorkers. You New Yorkers, I tell you what. But anyway, as I was saying, so they don't want to start, they're afraid to start their business, right? They think that they need to have everything right. So one of my sons is like that. For him to take a trip from Kansas to California, he wants all the lights to be green before he starts, right? and what my dad used to say, he says, there's 3 frogs sitting on a log. They all decide to jump off. How many are left? 3. Just because you make a decision, if you don't put your actions to it, then nothing happens. So how do you find that over the years, fear has affected you to start something new or to change direction? Because what I talk about is you run 100 miles an hour in the direction based on the information you have. Right? Based on the best information you have, run 100 miles an hour in that direction, because it's way easier to turn if you're moving.
Okay, that's a different way of looking at the same thing that I look at, which is, and I've changed careers 3 times in my adult life, and I'm going for number 4 now. And the real bottom line is, for me, has always been, if I do what I do on a consistent basis and just point my head in the direction I want to go, then that's what I'll do, and I'll get there, because any obstacles that get in my way, I don't leave doors open. I think that's probably the biggest thing. There is no door open. So how I handle the fear is by saying, okay, I'm not going to leave any back doors open for what if I fail. I'm just going to shut those doors and move on, and I'll make it happen.
Exactly. But let me ask you this question then. Do you also have in your mindset that, hey, failure isn't permanent, right? Failure is a comma, not a period, right? You pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you go over again. So for our younger listeners that are maybe looking at starting a business, or they're just getting started in business, would both of you agree, hey, failure is going to happen?
Absolutely.
Failure is going to happen. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, you're going to fail at something you're going to attempt to do.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep failing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and failure is easier to handle than fame, actually, in my opinion. We all fail. All of us fail. But not all of us have, worldwide fame and wealth. And I think actually, thank God for failure, because I don't know if I could handle fame.
Yeah, when we think about it, when you and I make a mistake and our sphere of influence is the local chamber of commerce or the local networking group, we stumble, they all see it, we pick ourselves up and we get started. When somebody like Britney Spears, remember back in the day when Britney Spears went a little crazy, Lindsay Lohan, you look at all those stars that lose it for a little bit, and millions and billions of people watch their failure, right, and hold it against them for years and years and years. But we all fail.
Absolutely.
And we just have different amounts of audiences watching us. Like Paul has millions of people that follow him. So like he's connected to everybody, I think.
We can't always be Paul.
It used to be 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Now it's 6 degrees of Paul Odendahl.
Hey, look, I fail. You know, I talk about this all the time with those millions of people that I speak to. Thanks, Ed. Yes. On the other side of failure is success. So if you want to get to success, you need to work your way through failure.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we're taught to run from it. So Chris has not run from it. Chris has closed the doors and continue to move forward. You know, that's another favorite thing of mine, Ed. Always moving forward, always moving forward, always moving forward. That's why you can't catch me. Always moving forward. So always moving forward and working right through those failures to get to success.
Yep.
So Chris, besides insurance, which is near and dear to my State Farm heart. Well, today I got State Farm on. Sometimes it's Allstate, Progressive, all different carriers, nationwide.
Are those the plugs for all the sponsors?
No,
Still
nobody.
trying to get
We can't get sponsored. We can't. Who the hell's going to sponsor it? We can't get sponsored. No, maybe.
Can't sponsor this.
Matter of fact, you know what? It's funny you say that. I got an email yesterday, and I asked someone to be a host, and they're like, instead of focusing on me being a host, I thought we'd bring some beauty to the show. Oh, that sounds rude. I asked her to be on the show, and she's like, you really should work. I watched your first show. You guys really should work on getting some sponsors. Maybe that's something. Maybe there's something in that. Yeah. Now, Chris said something about sponsors. She said something about sponsors.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
there's something.
I think we could go, with us being old white guys, we could go for New Balance shoes. We could go for dad joke books. I know a guy that's written a dad joke book or two.
Well, that's a plus. That's a plus.
Yeah, that's sort of like Switzerland. I don't know anything about Switzerland, but I do know its flag is a big plus.
Oh my Lord!
We did that like 6 times on the first show.
How to alienate the millennial, people from your group.
You know what?
No, we have a Generation Z guest coming on, and the Generation Z guest is going to be really good.
Well, okay, that doesn't mean. For fear of total embarrassment, what is Generation Z?
Ed,
it's you told me when we did this the other day. What was it? 1997 to 2012.
Very good.
Oh, I can 97 to 2012. So what I'm finding, and I think Paul's finding the same thing too, millennials and Generation Z get a lot of crap for not wanting to work, being on their phone, that sort of stuff. That's bullshit because, do I have to bleep that out? I don't know. But that's crap because the people we're running into and that we're interacting with, they're some of the hardest working millennials. Like I've got a kid that's 29, maybe just turned 30. And he's worked his butt off building a coffee machine repair business, him and his wife. She started it. And so, no, they're some of the hardest working people I've seen. So this guy we met the other day, Wisdom with a U, hard working kid, got a couple of jobs, got a side hustle going on, Generation Z. So, I'm pretty impressed with these guys. And they love my dad jokes, or at least they're polite enough to laugh.
Yeah, they don't love them, Chris. They don't.
Yeah, they drank enough coffee to love them.
Yeah, they believe me. I talked to them after. They don't love them. So anyway, by the way, our show is about you, not about us. Co-host Ed. So let's get back to our guest. Yeah. Got to remind this kid all the time. Let's get back to our guest. Guest Chris.
Yes.
Besides the insurance industry, which is near and dear to my heart, since I insured the Flintstones. Talk to us a little bit about other successful endeavors that you've been involved in.
Okay.
Like I think I met you through. How did I meet you? Talk to it. Well, again, it's not about me, but how did I meet you?
Sherry Pedrioli introduced us and thought that we would have some synergy.
And she's associated with
Alignable.
And she's also what I got to drag this out of my guest. There we go.
Wait a minute. Let me get the pliers. Hold on a minute. What are you looking for?
BNI. We're putting a plug in for BNI.
BNI. Yeah, BNI. Forgot about BNI. How could I forget about BNI? So I started a chapter 23 years ago in Northern California. We were the second chapter in Northern California in our area. I'm up in Sonoma County, that area, wine country. We're 6 guys. We met first in a restaurant that is no longer there. We outlasted that. The executive director voted me least likely to succeed or stick in the group. So I've got to give her a call and thank her, because anybody who tells me I can't do something, they're toast. I'm going to do it, even if it's against my best judgment. I'm going to do it.
Go, Chris. Go, Chris.
She used her reverse psychology on you. That's all it was reverse.
Yeah, that's all it was, I guess. That's all it was. She's already gone also. I outlasted her. And we built it from 0 to the largest and most profitable group in Northern California. And last year, we did over 10 million in revenue, referral business.
Great.
With 73 members. And we did that because of certain designs and structure that we built. Part B&I, the structure of B&I, but part business. We brought our business acumen into it and just value added it till the point that it is what it is today.
Yeah, so he's like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps going and going and going and going. There you go.
And you know what I noticed, Ed? His energy picked up a level when we talked about B&I, and he hasn't even listened to your B&I story yet.
Right.
I don't know if you two have met before, but 2 B&I successful gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. So my chapter, the first chapter I joined, we built it from 24 to 53. Had a bad leadership team for a year, dropped back to 22. And then now I'm in a 68-member chapter in Nashville, Tennessee. So we've got 8 minutes left, Chris. If you had 3 tips to give to our listeners, just think about that for a second. 3 tips about business. Do you know what they would be? Do you have 3 that just pop into your head?
Yep.
Lay them on.
First of all, get started and go in one direction. I mean, that's really one.
You don't have to listen to the music though, right? The one direction.
No music. No, just go. When the bell tolls, go for it. And I would also say build and spend as opposed to spend and build. So build something so that it will, keep the cash flow going, because in the first years, cash is king. Keep the cash flow going. You can spend to build later, but build to spend when you start out. So
That's
have the sales
advice
there to equate to what your office space and all that other kind of stuff, as opposed to the other way around. And then close the back doors and, good work ethic will overcome obstacles anytime.
That's a good point. So when you say close the back doors, for people that don't get that analogy, I've always also heard it said burn the bridges, right? Burn those bridges, not destroy relationships, burning bridges.
No, absolutely not.
But burn your way out, right?
Burn your back door. So just close it, lock it, and make it not an option. And I'll give you the best example is I do that in my life as well. When I got married, before I got married, people said, sign a prenup agreement. And I thought about it because there was, financial issues there. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, a prenup agreement is a plan to fail. It is a back door. And I don't plan to fail on this marriage. And here we are 26 years later, and we're still married and we're doing well. And we've got 3 grandchildren, 2 that we adopted, and 1 that adopted us. It's only 1 holdout left. Anyway, we're rocking and rolling. I got 9 and 10-year-olds living here doing distance learning. I got a 16-year-old who adopted us, and he's, gotten stability back and, focusing on his direction. And, I mean, like I told Paul before, there's no garage sale in heaven, so I might as well spend it on him while I'm here and have some fun doing it.
Yep, that's true. You can't take it with you.
Nope.
And, for all the people that leave it for all their kids, I want my kids to be in a better position, but you learn a lot working for it too.
Well, and that's the thing about failure. The failure is your best educator. So don't run from it. Actually embrace it, because it's your absolute best educator. You learn a whole lot more in failure than you do, telling people how good you are.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if a person's going to join or look for a networking group, give us some tips on looking for the best networking groups, BNI or otherwise, because there's other great networking groups out there as well. But what's some good tips that you look for when you're directing somebody to a networking group?
Well, first of all, I'd look at who's your best customers now before the networking group, and then find out if those people play in that arena. So one of the things that was really successful about our group is we had a bunch of businesses who do business with other businesses, and we needed to be able to focus in that direction to keep the people in the group. So we had a ratio of 60-40, business to business to business to individual. And that becomes real important. Make sure that the businesses that are in there, flow with the same kind of people that you do business with, and will help you be successful and make it worthwhile. And then check the personality of the group, and are they engaging, and will they let you bring your entrepreneurial instincts into the chapter or group to make it better?
Great advice.
Yeah, excellent advice. Hey, Chris, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and do a one-to-one and chat with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well,
reach out to Sherry. Sherry will give you a link to Chris. Then Chris will reach back. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I'm easy to get a hold of. That's actually one of my fondest things about insurance these days, but for anything, is that I actually answer the phone. How many agents actually answer the phone these days,
Not too many.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's so easy. It's easy pickings these days, because if you just answer your phone, you're ahead of the game.
Okay,
but,
well then, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, 707 799 0664. Mention this,
Wake Up Call
video or a podcast, and I will return their call. And we'll talk and see what's up.
Okay, cool. And then are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Alignable?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not on Facebook or any of the other social media platforms. I am on LinkedIn. And then my email address is my name, Chris Pennock, PENNOCK CHRIS@CALROB.com, which is my agency. And you can look up my agency, calrob.com, anytime you want and find me. And if that doesn't work, check the morgue, because, those are the places I'll be.
Ed, I am so thankful that you invited this guest to the show. Oh, wait a minute. I did that. I did that.
Yeah,
I am so thankful that Paul invited this guest. He warmed my little heart. This is our first fan that said, if you mention our show, he'll actually speak to you.
There you go.
He'll actually pick up the phone. If you mention you were on the call,
reverse psychology, buddy. Remember we talked about
that's right. That's right.
Well, Chris, hey, thanks for being on the call. That half hour went way too quick. We'll edit this down to about 22 minutes or stuff. So thanks for being on the call, and have a great day.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
See you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
All righty.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Wake Up Call with Ed and Paul. Thanks for listening. As always, we appreciate it. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube. Thanks a lot and have a great day.